fundamentally underlying any nutrition plan, optimal health has to be the most important thing. If your body is healthy and everything's working optimally, then whatever you ask it to do is more likely to happen.
The reason we take them measurements is so I can see them small wins every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks. And you do feel good. You know that when you get in, you dropped 10 millimeters on the midsection, it feels really good. And that allows you to kind of buy into it a little bit as well and understand that if the weight's not going down, but the measurements are going down, you're getting stronger in the gym. That's kind of where we want to be.
Welcome to Nourished by Spinneys, the podcast where we hope to inspire you to eat well and live well. I'm Tiffany Eslick.
And I'm Devina Devecha. We're continuing our conversations with leading players in the food community, from farmers to foodies, as well as health and well-being experts. It's all about engaging conversations and fresh ideas. So, I think we're off to the gym today, Tiff?
We are.
Oh.
Quelle surprise.
Taking that off your French trip?
Yes, exactly. Really staying true to our health and well-being experts promise. So, yeah, we're heading to Raw, which was co-founded by Sarah Lindsay. And we're chatting to her and one of their trainers, my trainer, Jordan Bunting.
Okay.
So Raw was actually founded by Sarah and her partner, Rich Phillips. And it comes from London and it opened in Dubai last year.
Nice.
And this episode is really good if you're interested in strength training, the buzzword, obviously, and kind of looking at a holistic approach to health and well-being and what is important.
Okay, so you mentioned Jordan is your trainer as well. So you've been in their program for how long? And tell me how it's been for you.
You mean I haven't been telling you about this?
I mean, you have, but
Yes,
our listeners don't know.
So I decided to join Raw at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
Something just clicked at the end of last year, and I thought, you know what, I haven't actually given strength training a chance. I, with my crazy life and, my love for food and then like not getting out there enough and moving, I was like, I need to sign up to something that I'm going to stick to.
Yeah.
So I went for a consultation there. Absolutely loved the environment. And then, so I signed up. So since the 6th of January, I've been doing it. What's been interesting is what has it been? Well, what are we, 5 months in?
Yeah.
Again, minus a month worth of traveling,
Sure.
Maybe even 6 weeks. The differences that I have seen, I believe what people go on about with strength training.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, especially as a woman, as you're getting older. Can't believe I'm admitting that. I'm not that old, but it comes down to strength training and protein, and I've just seen my body transform in shape and, getting your head around the fact that, okay, you're losing centimeters, but you're building muscles. Maybe the weight on the scale is not dropping as much as you would like it to. But I'm not fitting in. Well, my clothes are too big now. And it's like, it's really encouraging. And the best part is that I feel strong.
That's good.
And it helps with like mental resilience. Like when I look at what I was lifting in the beginning, I never thought I'd care about lifting weights. I can promise you that. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I've improved from on the leg press thing, whatever it is. I mean, I still don't know the names of these things, but I went from lifting almost nothing to like 100 kgs.
Nice.
And that's you feel so much stronger and ready to tackle things.
That's great. And I guess the mindset of the founders helps because I believe Sarah was an Olympic athlete as well.
Yeah. So she was a 3-time Olympian speed skater.
Wow.
And also has won like a ton of medals, gold and silver medals around the world. And there's really there's a great feeling in the gym of people who want to succeed, want you to succeed, but in the most supportive and caring way.
It's a positive atmosphere then.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I've said this before to you guys, when I came to Raw the first time and I looked around, I was immediately taken by the space before chatting to you about what you do. And did you intentionally set out to create like a beautiful gym or something that's so light and welcoming? Is this what the other gyms are like in London? Because you have 3, right, in London as well. What was your intention when creating Raw?
I think having big female influence, a lot of these private personal training gyms are set up on a budget. Obviously, it's often personal trainers that are doing it, and I think a lot of the time the attention to detail isn't there, and I really wanted to create a space that women especially felt comfortable in because they are intimidating spaces a lot of the time. And I like the nice things, you see me like sitting on these Bentley upholstery stitch here, but I think it's nice just to have everything feeling like there's thought behind it.
It is. It's not intimidating. And that's what's always put me off gyms. And then I walked in and I thought, okay, this is manageable. Everything, you can see it. It's not over the top.
Yeah.
It's just beautifully done. So yeah, well done.
But everybody feels intimidated when they first start in the gym. That's very, very normal. I mean, I say it even about myself. You know, I'm an Olympian. I own gyms. I know what I'm doing and I can outlift a lot of the boys. But still, if I go to a new gym that I haven't been to before, I still want to find my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just get in, headphones, hat, I just find my space, get my workout done and leave. And that's me and somebody who's confident in the gym and confident in life in general. So I completely understand how it must feel for people who don't know what they're doing and they haven't used the gym before and they're not maybe feeling their best at the moment and they want to start that journey. Of course, it's a really difficult thing to go and do, taking that first step. So I wanted to try and make it as easy a process for the client as possible.
I mean, if you feel intimidated, then yeah.
But I just want to say that even I feel like that.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a new space. Sometimes you just have to, bite the bullet and get in, and that's the hardest bit, walking through the door in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think when I go in, I always just jump on the treadmill for 5 minutes and just look around.
Yeah.
See where the equipment is and then just plan it out from there.
Oh, is that your strategy?
Yeah.
Like your
jump
safe
on
space.
Bit of cardio for a change. Look around, where's
works.
what, where's there, and then just walk around, yeah.
So there's so many misconceptions about strength training. I remember my first meeting here with Jordan. I was like, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't want to become a bodybuilder.
And what did he say then?
He just laughed.
I said, we're going to make you a bodybuilder.
He just had this like twinkle in his eye. And then I looked him up on Instagram and realized he was like a famous bodybuilder. I felt so bad because I was like, bodybuilding?
Yeah. She did say it was an awful sport. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I did. And, I did have that misconception. And many people who have told afterwards who are, intelligent and do work out, and everyone sort of thinks that you're going to get these huge muscles. So let's first focus on what you do strength training. Let's break that down. Like, what are the misconceptions and how are you stopping those?
Well, a lot of women come in and they say the same thing. They don't want to look like a bodybuilder. They don't want to get really muscly. And I'm like, good luck. Do you know how hard that is? When Jordan knows better than anybody.
Yeah, we tried for a few years.
Yeah. But, to really gain significant muscle that's going to make you look very different takes genetics. You've got to have those genetics and the fast twitch fibers to be able to grow. You need to train. You need to be strong. Like, not on the journey to get strong, but you have to already be strong.
Mm-hmm.
You need to train for a long period of time for that. It won't happen overnight, and you've really got to eat for that purpose. So it has to be deliberate. You don't go to sleep and wake up in the morning after a training session and be like, oh no, what happened here? It takes a long time. So it doesn't happen by mistake.
Yeah, I mean, you eat like 5,000 calories a day or something,
yeah,
right?
I try to, yeah. So yeah, it takes hard work, obviously, depending on your calorie intake and your training program. But I think what I find great is a lot of women come in and then end up enjoying being strong. And that's kind of one of the drivers for them actually staying training as well. Like, they kind of come in not wanting this misconception of like, I don't want to lift heavy. But when they actually start lifting heavy and they realize how good it feels and how good it makes them feel, it's actually pretty special, to be fair.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I speak from first-hand experience. Yeah. Like, I never thought I would like doing something like this. I hadn't really even researched it ever, but I just thought, no, that's not for me. And yeah, I can honestly say, like, I've stuck it out, which is amazing because I've never done that in my life before the gym. Right. And it's not addictive, but you really enjoy seeing that, okay, you've added another 5 kgs and you're feeling strong. It's that feeling of strength that's amazing. And it helps with everything, like resilience and day-to-day things that are happening, the way you react to something. I don't know, it's like it's got a knock-on effect, which is good.
Well, you gain so much confidence from being strong. Strength contributes to your physical capabilities, what you're physically capable of doing. Of course, that has a crossover and a knock-on effect to everything else in life. When you know that physically nothing can stop you, then that's going to show in your personality.
Yeah, and like what you can suddenly become capable of doing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, without giving your secrets away and how your formula works, and to be honest, I've never actually stopped. I just do what Jordan tells me. So, I've never tried to figure out what we're actually doing every week.
Sure.
But what are we're doing like a series of repeated exercises for a certain program, and you kind of are working upper body strength, lower body, and sometimes we do mixed body. Is there anything else like scientifically that you guys are doing that you can share with the way your program is worked out?
Well, Jordan spends the most time on the gym floor,
On the gym
so
floor,
I'll let you take this one.
I always kind of look at it in terms of like a 360 approach. really. So like training, nutrition, recovery, and just kind of focus on certain aspects of strength training and mechanical tension and stuff. So we'll look at things like, right, is tempo followed, working with supersets and creating that intensity within the hour. And yeah, it's fundamentally that you're supposed to do the same exercises on repeat, not all the time, but to see that progression, to see the strength that we just spoke about. And that's kind of why we do what we do.
And that what you mentioned there with like sleep, recovery, nutrition, it's so important. You can't, this is not going to work. I mean, I think you once said to me, like, look, it's 3 hours a week. If you're not doing the other things, you can't expect miracles. And it's the truth, and you see it. The minute you stop the steps, something is a little bit off balance, or you're not eating properly. It's hugely important. So it's nice that you guys offer the nutrition program as well.
Well, you have to make sure that those 3 areas are covered.
Yeah.
If you're lacking in any of those, then you're going to struggle with the results. So you have to look at your training, you have to nail the nutrition, and you have to nail your recovery, which I think a lot of the time is the one that people don't pay enough attention to, is, the quality of your sleep and all the little sort of 1%ers that contribute to how well you're going to show up for the next session as well. And obviously nutrition, like you say, is a huge part of that. So, and it's the thing that the clients have to go away and do themselves, right? When they come in here, we can take care of the training, we can push you super hard, and we can tell you what to do with the nutrition, but it's then the client has to go home and look after that, area. So we make it as easy as possible. We make it really easy to follow, and there's lots of different ways of doing it. And everybody comes in with different goals and different lifestyles, which can really, contribute to how well it's going to work. So we try and work with people and make sure they've got everything they need so that they can execute as designed.
Yeah, like I think your eating plan is really helpful. I mean, I am a cook, and so in the beginning I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to change this and that. But what I realized was how much protein one really should be eating every day. And I wasn't eating enough, and so that helped immensely. And I felt like just following that plan for the first 4 weeks, I was like, I'm sticking to this 100%. I'm doing your recipes, and it really helped just to get into the swing of things, and then you can start playing around with like herbs and spices and what you're going to add. But yeah, no, it's good that you have that.
But it's also what's going to make you feel better as well. It's not just, an eating plan to try and get you to gain muscle or lose weight or whatever the aesthetic goals might be.
Yeah.
But, fundamentally underlying any nutrition plan, optimal health has to be the most important thing. If your body is healthy and everything's working optimally, then whatever you ask it to do is more likely to happen, right? So, optimal health underlying that. And then you need to eat so you can perform in your training session. And this gives you a little shift really into a lot of people are trying not to eat. They spend the whole time just trying to do more exercise and eat less food, which is obviously very negative. So if you're eating for a positive purpose, because you're going to turn up and you want to get the most out of your training session and then eat to recover from that training session, then you've got a reason to eat. So you're looking at how are you nourishing and looking after your body and how are you going to perform in your training. And that takes a little bit of time sometimes, but then the client goes from trying not to eat and not feeling, good about what they're eating to really enjoying the food.
Fuel for performance is key.
Yeah. You are the head nutritionist here as well. You must see it, like that shift between people who have maybe not eaten because they think that's going to help to changing their ways.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Obviously, that's where it does come down to educating these clients on certain topics, and that's where you do the sit down one-to-ones and your nutrition retest throughout the program, and that's where we're learning and grow with your client as well.
Those nutrition retests are fun with the measurements. I just have visions of Jordan with that. It's very raw.
Nobody wants their fat measured. It's like the words body composition, but everybody just comes in and is like, oh, you're going to squish my fat today. And it's like, nobody loves that part of it.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of shape you're in. But it's just, for us, it's information. We need to know what to do next. We need to see how your body's responding to the plan so far, so we know how to progress the training and the nutrition program, because it's got to work together. It's so important.
And it was interesting because it is about this body composition rather than just looking at your body mass or the number on the scale. Knowing those measurements and how you're changing, how your muscle is forming is the biggest part for me, the takeaway from strength training, to be honest.
Weight is the biggest factor for most people, especially women, I would say. They want to see that number on the scale go down, but they need to be educated that there is multiple reasons why that can fluctuate. Hormones, could be water retention. You could have had a really hard gym session the day before and just create a little bit of inflammation. Where the reason we take their measurements is so I can see them small wins every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks. And you do feel good. You know that when you get in, you've dropped 10 millimeters on the midsection, it feels really good. And that allows you to kind of buy into it a little bit as well and understand that if the weight's not going down, but the measurements are going down, you're getting stronger in the gym, that's kind of where we want to be.
Yeah, you are seeing results either way. Yeah. It takes a while to get used to it, but yeah, I think I'm in it. Yeah.
Well, I think as women, you're conditioned, right, forever to stand on the scales and say you're going to have a good or bad day depending on whether it's up or down. But like Jordan said, there's so many reasons why that can fluctuate. And even if I go for a walk in the morning, I can come back and be 2 kilos lighter. And I'm not a big person, but 2 kilos is a big percentage of my body weight. And that's just from going for an hour walk.
I really must do my steps.
Yeah. Drop 2 kilos, 10,000 steps.
Segue that in there. Steps, everyone.
How to lose 2 kilos, 10,000 steps.
I was asking you that last night. Done. What is strength training doing? Are there a lot of similarities for men and women, like the benefits of it, and then key differences as well? So does it help women more with hormones and men more with something else? Or if we can just talk about those split benefits.
There's similar benefits for men and women. I think the long-term benefits are, like we talked about earlier, physical capability and the longevity that you have to take into consideration. So the stronger you are now, whatever stage you're at, whatever age you are, I think if you lift, just say you squat 100 kilos, obviously it's a lot of weight, but if you squat 100 kilos when you're 25 years old, even if you never weight trained again, you're going to be stronger when you're 80. Because just the process of getting to that level of strength will serve you well long term. You know, that sort of intramuscular coordination, I think sometimes just the perception of what you can and can't do as well makes you physically more capable forever. So I think if you go through a strength training program and you get to a certain level, that will last you for the rest of your life. And obviously you're more likely to keep training. But even if you didn't, I think it's still in there. It's still in there in you. So I think that's super important.
Touched on it before, but I think longevity is key. When you look at things like bone density and bone health as you grow, obviously osteoporosis prevention, especially in women, you know, that's kind of a key area as they go through menopause, etc. So strength training is kind of a fundamental that I always recommend most people to do throughout their life, to be fair.
And don't forget your metabolism. The more muscle you have, the higher your basal metabolic rate, the higher your metabolism. So the more calories you need to eat at rest, which means if you're in a position where it's not just about being able to eat loads of food, but if you are able to eat more and not gain body fat, then you've got more chance of getting all the essential nutrients in. You know, if you're only able to eat a small amount of food without gaining body fat and you're trying to manage that, then your chance of getting everything that you need obviously drops down. So the perfect situation to be in is to be able to eat loads of food and maintain your body composition as it is.
So that is the perfect situation.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do.
So I'm listening to the music, which is always so upbeat and wonderful. And it goes with... I know that you guys have strict rules on your music, so I've tried to get hip hop played and that's not happened. But, you know, I feel like the ambience is upbeat. All the trainers are always so friendly and genuinely interested in everyone. When I'm sitting in the waiting room watching someone come in, there's always proper conversations. People want to know about your life. How are you finding the right people? Because honestly, it's a wonderful situation to come in and see everybody looking so happy.
Yeah, it's super important to us, obviously. Lots of interviews. I think when you attract the right type of people, if you genuinely feel like that yourself and you care about people and you care about what you're doing, then I think you tend to attract the right people. But, you know, we've done lots and lots of interviews and there's different things that we look at when it comes to hiring people. And obviously for the trainers, they need to be well qualified in the first place. But then for me, one of the next most important things is, are you a good person? Do you care about people? Because that's going to be your job satisfaction. People come in and they don't feel good and they leave feeling amazing. And if you care about that and you enjoy that, then you're going to last. You're going to enjoy your job and you're going to be happy doing what you're doing. But if you don't really, care about that side of things, then you're probably not going to be here that long. So I think we've done a really good job of getting together a really lovely team. And if they're nice people, even if they're not best friends, they're going to be nice to each other at work. You know, it's going to be a nice
Sometimes.
working most of the time. So it's going to be a nice working environment, which I'm a big believer in energy, and that just spreads so fast through the gym. And it's meant that we have attracted really lovely clients as well. Yeah. It's a really happy house.
Yeah, like I wanted to ask you, like, why do you care, Jordan? Because, I think like, you must have, I'm sure there's more people like me, but like some days he'll be like, did you do your steps? I'll be like, no. And he doesn't get cross. He just genuinely wants me to do these steps. And, what keeps you caring about?
I think for me, it's just wanting to get the client to understand what they can achieve. A lot of clients come in a bit more like a shell of themselves, I would say, and then they leave either week 6, week 8, and they do believe in themselves a little bit more. It's just kind of distilling that into them, because I know what they can achieve, but in their mind they can't do it. And I'm like, you can do it. You just need to be pushed a little bit.
Yeah,
but I think it comes from your passion as well.
Yeah. So obviously I love my job. I love what I do. I could probably do it all day, every day. And I'm fine to do that. So for me, it's just, I want to kind of set the standard for my clients, and I want my clients to be invested in me, because I'm invested in them a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So
it's working. Like, I don't want to disappoint you. So I'm like,
I have high standards for them, because obviously I want what's best for them at the end of the day.
But I'm the same. Jordan will train me. And, obviously I have a history of training hard and everything, being an athlete, but I can't get out of myself what he can do with me. And that's, even at my level, I always use the sporting analogy. It's like nobody went to the Olympics without a coach. You got, 15 people looking after you. So when people feel like, I don't know, sometimes people feel embarrassed that they're asking for help, or they're going to somebody else to help them train. But it's not because you're lazy or not motivated, because you are, because you walked in the door in the first place. But, everybody trains better with a trainer.
Absolutely. And as you say, you have it for other aspects of your life. You might have an executive business coach, you might have a therapist, you might, whatever it is, or a nutritionist. Like you do. A trainer helps.
Of course.
It keeps you motivated, keeps you on track. Yeah. I can't imagine life without Jordan.
Look at that love story.
Yeah.
She owns a lot to say that, anyway.
I try like bribery, see what he would let me off. Whenever I walk in and I see the wall, with all the lovely transformations, you must have seen some fantastic transformations over the time. What are some key ones that have stood out? Doesn't have to be in Dubai, could be in London as well.
Probably one of my favourites is a client. She doesn't train anymore. She trained for about 2 years. She was called Kate.
Yeah.
She went through the transformation. She's on the wall. In the first 12 weeks, lost about 10 to 12 kilos. And very similar to what we believe in terms of like strength training and proper nutrition. We built her calories up to 2,700 every day, gotten stronger in the gym, hitting PBs across the board. Later went on to do a photo shoot and just kind of embodied everything that we truly believe in. She trusted me fully, which was nice, and just did everything to a T. So it was nice to see that progression put in. And then we had a nice couple when they were first opening in Dubai, Teresa and David. They actually moved out here for like 4 months it was. And literally just did raw for 4 months. It was amazing. Literally, they came in, used to come in like an hour before the session to chat to the team, and they really kind of became part of the raw family. Still keep in touch with them now. They just pop in when they visit Dubai. And they, again, just embodied everything that we believe in and fully trusted us. And we're committed to getting on the wall. And it's obviously nice to see as well.
Yeah, it's so nice. We have hundreds of before and afters. And it's not, that's just a visual representation, it's the final bit, and there's so much more to it than that after picture. It's like really what people get from it, that confidence, like we talked about earlier. And it's always those ones for me that really stand out. People that come in and they're, like I said, not feeling great, and it changes everything. When you have real confidence, it changes the way that you think. Every decision you make is different. The way that you dress, and the first thing you say to yourself when you wake up in the morning, eye contact, body language, and then people start behaving differently and responding differently to you because you're giving off a different energy. And everything around them is changing, and it's all because, a lot of the time, because they got strong, because they can lift weight and they've got that physical confidence in themselves. So those ones for me are always the ones that really matter, because that's going to stay with them forever.
Yeah, that
and
mindset shift, isn't it?
Yeah. And you've given them those tools that they'll use forever. They'll always weight train. We had a client in London, actually Raw One, Mike, and he had some illnesses, and when he first came in, because of his tremors, he could only hold a 2-kilo dumbbell. So he had advanced Parkinson's, so he could only hold a 2-kilo dumbbell. And then by the end of his 12 weeks, he's deadlifting 120 kilos. He was doing pull-ups. I mean, this is amazing, which he never thought he could do. And the physical confidence that he gained from that strength helped him in lots of different areas as well. So he's one of my all-time favorite success stories, I think.
Yeah, it's not people coming in just to transform from body weight. It is. It's like someone with Parkinson's wanting to be stronger.
Yeah.
Maybe someone's been in an accident.
They're all different types of people. Everybody deserves to get stronger. Everybody deserves to weight train, and you have to find a way. And everyone's got something, there's always some kind of niggle or injury or problem or health issue that you need to find a solution for. And that's a huge part of what we do, is finding solutions.
What is your tip for someone who's listening to this and thinks, okay, I'm interested, like if someone's interested in getting into strength training, what's the first step that they can take?
Honestly, just start. Yeah, like it sounds cliche, but like get in the gym, whether it is Raw or just your local gym, and get into the environment, and you'll honestly fall in love with it, and you'll never look back, is kind of what I say to most clients when they walk through the door.
I think it's really helpful to start with a plan. If you've never trained and you walk into a gym and you have no idea what you're doing, you're going to pick up those dumbbells. What are you going to do with them? People are nervous of getting hurt. So I think asking for help, whether it's a trainer or just a friend, somebody that knows training, or do your own research, make a plan, get a training program off the internet, take it into the gym with you. Google those exercises, make sure you know what you're doing. And even just watching yourself, it sounds a bit silly, but watching yourself in front of a mirror, copying those moves, so you know that you're doing it right, so that you're not trying to do that movement for the first time ever in a gym environment where you might not feel at ease. So just practicing the movements and stuff before you go in and before you pick up the dumbbells, I think is quite a nice way for it to feel a bit more familiar once you get there.
I'll come to Raw.
I'll come to Raw.
I'll come to here. I say go to Raw. It's much easier. When we were chatting, you were talking to me about how you love like the energy in Dubai. And, you are a gym from London and you're pretty new in Dubai still. What is it else that you like about Dubai for both of you, living here, the people that you're meeting?
A couple of the big things are safety. I know it's kind of a common answer on that sort of thing, but yeah, the safety for me feels really good. You can go out at any time of day. You don't have to worry about your belongings and that kind of thing. And as a woman, I feel very safe, which is really nice and refreshing. And I think something that Dubai has that's quite unique is that most people come here because they're trying to achieve. So people are really supporting success, which just gives you that extra motivation when you're trying to do something, and people are genuinely cheering you on and clapping you and celebrating your wins, and you don't have to be shy or embarrassed about doing something well or achieving something. I think is quite refreshing about Dubai.
Yeah, for me, it would probably be that Dubai's probably got a lot of different things that I didn't think it had. So you see kind of the party scene, you see the brunches, but there's actually a really good fitness culture here. There's a good sport culture. If you want to get into paddle, go down to Kite Beach. And that's kind of what I love about Dubai. Obviously, the safety helps massively. That's my main thing. There's a lot here that I didn't think was here. And I kind of fell in love with that side.
Everyone's in a good mood.
Yeah.
You've got the sun.
Yeah,
you've got the sun, obviously. But I think as well that because it's a tourist destination too, lots of people are on holiday. So you're always in that slight sort of holiday mode where, because you're around those people that are on holiday, it just lifts everybody's mood that little bit.
Yeah, it's quite a positive place.
Yeah. Very.
You're right about what you said about success. I agree with everything, and whether you're trying to get fit, launch a business, there is this opportunity and this driving force to make you succeed. So yeah, I wish you guys all the success, because I know Raw is growing, and it's going to be fun to be part of that journey and watch what happens. So
thank you.
Yeah, good luck. And then lastly, I wanted to ask you, what nourishes both of your souls? And you can't say fitness. You have to pick something else. Yeah.
Mine's probably Sundays, to be fair. So Sundays I like to spend kind of just my time, evaluating the week and kind of setting the standard for myself. So I like to get up. I do like to train in the mornings, walk my dog, spend time with my missus and my dog, kind of just chill and that Sunday for me is like my day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, mine's actually super similar, actually. I think it's really important for everybody to spend time with themselves, to have time for yourself, doing something I think people should try and do that every day. Just one thing that's really good for you and that makes you feel good and isn't for anybody else's benefit. And you really do need to look after yourself. So I think that downtime and that alone time and just, whatever that might be that makes you feel happy, that gives you that happy place, coffee, stand outside, feel the sun on your skin, make sure you're smiling. Again, I sound mad probably, but when you physically smile, you're happier. Instantly you have that chemical reaction that you have from that. So I think it feels a bit indulgent or sounds a bit indulgent, but I think it's really important to nourish yourself.